Well, it's hard to believe it, but the summertime season is starting to wind down, and that means students are going back to school, whether they're going away to school, changing schools, or just going to new classrooms and new friends or new students that they don't know. Causes stress, causes anxiety. I've been there. I'm a father of four, so I understand where we are. Kind enough to join me this morning is Dr. Laura Markley, president of the medical staff at Akron Children's Hospital, among many other titles. And Dr. Markley has agreed to come on with us this morning to talk a little bit about that with us family members, and certainly how to handle what to look for when we're talking about anxiety and stress. And Laura, thanks for joining us this morning, and why don't you take it from there?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me and for thinking about doing this important topic. With many children, they don't have the emotional vocabulary to really describe the details of how they're feeling. So a lot of times anxiety can come across in other behaviors, like physical or like acting out, having tantrums. I don't want to go school shopping. I'm going to throw a tantrum about that. Or sometimes I can't go. I feel sick. So those symptoms are not faking. Those are really real. It's just because they have to hold so much inside because they don't really know how to communicate how they're feeling. Noticing some of those things early on can help you recognize that there may be an issue and be proactive about it. One of the things parents can do, there are several things parents can do, but the most important thing is to realize that it takes a community to raise a child, and it's not solely on the parent to help their child through this, that there are professionals and resources available to really help their child be successful. You know, their first partner is their school. If they feel that their child has existing anxiety or maybe developing anxiety, really trying to attend the school open houses, see the classrooms, walk through the routine of the day, meet the teachers, talk about scenarios. What do you do if you forget your lunch money? Where are you going to sit? How new ways to find someone to play with at recess? What activities there are to participate in? And talking about them in kind of more a positive and exciting way than, well, if this goes wrong, then you can do this. Just say, instead of, well, if you don't have money for lunch, you can talk to, you can say, lunch is always available, and, should you happen to forget your money, just mention it to this person and they can help you. So the other thing to realize is that schools are very used to working with students who have anxiety. So contacting the school and seeing what resources are at the school, many children with significant anxiety would be eligible for something called a 504, which is a little extra help in getting through the day. And it's simple things like if they have problems walking through the halls, they can maybe leave class a couple minutes early, or they can get to the next class a couple minutes late so they can avoid walking through that crowded hallway. Or knowing that they can go to the guidance office to take a break.
With us is Dr. Laura Markley, President, Medical Staff, Akron Children's Hospital. Anxiety and stress with these students, whether they're changing schools, going to new classrooms, new teachers, going away to school. There's a lot of stuff going on. And Laura, it's probably easy for a parent to say, oh, get off the couch, get out of bed, get into school. Come on, get going. You can do this. Might not be the best thing. So when that happens in the mornings, help us a little bit as parents. How do we handle that?
So a lot of what happens is anticipating that reaction and really having a team in place before it happens. But I think when that happens in the morning, talking about, normalizing some anxiety and that it's okay to have jitters when there's something new, but going to school is very important. It's literally your job as a child to go to school, and it's not something that can be avoided. I think most parents don't understand that most kids that are avoiding school aren't avoiding school because they don't like school. They don't like being separated from their home or their parents. their home routine. So really emphasizing the importance of school, really when they come home, praising them for going, asking about their day, asking details about their day. It's very easy for a child to answer good when you ask them, how was your day? Using a question like, take me through your day, or tell me what you did today, is a little bit more enticing for them to share more. Ask to see things they worked on at school, show an interest. Positive attention from parents is a huge motivator, because one of the things they're missing at school is that attention from their parents. And if they know that they're going to get that positive reinforcement when they go home from school, then that can help entice them to want to go to school to do those things to get that attention. The other thing is the routine. Start the routine now. Do not wait till school starts to stop them from going to bed at 10 p.m. Start their regular school bedtime and wake-up time now, so that they are not, completely shattered in the morning from getting not enough sleep. No one does well on not enough sleep, and if you start the routine now, then it'll be easier for them to get up and get going when school starts.
Laura, uncertainty is a big part of this, and I like what you had to say. Maybe go to the school a week or so early, walk around the halls, show them where they're going to be getting their classes and the groups and meeting places and where the bus is going to drop them off. That all adds up. Those are a bunch of little factors, right, Dr. Markley? But they all add up to maybe a little stress bug.
They really do. They really do. That's a great way to put it, because really anxiety is about feeling a lack of control. And so the more knowledge you have, the more control you feel you have. And I think one of the things that parents struggle with is that kids don't look at situations with life experience like we do. And so the things they may be scared of may be completely different than what we assume they're scared of, right? I had a young person who was scared to go to school because an older student told them the school was haunted. So, that was not what we were expecting, and it took a long time to come out. But, it's just one of those things where you can never assume what the source of anxiety is. You can only help them cope with it. Another great thing to do is actually talk to their pediatrician. The pediatricians are very well versed in differentiating between just kind of normal developmental or situational anxiety and when it might be starting to dip its toes into an anxiety disorder, and get them into a therapy referral, because like any illness, the earlier you start nipping anxiety in the bud, the better off you are.
I like what you had to say, too, Dr. Markley, is that your student, your youngster better than anyone. Head it off. Get planning early. Get them to bed early. Get that routine going for sure. Laura, thanks for joining us this morning. Is there anything else that you would like to get out there for our listening audience, maybe that I have missed with my questions?
I think sometimes, and this may be a little bit off of anxiety, but I know that one of the things that a little bit older students are worried about is sometimes the substance exposure that they will have in the school, with vaping and things like that. So I just think it's best if parents can have that conversation before school starts with their student into how to address that situation if that's something that they come in contact with, and why they should avoid it.
Mm-hmm, that's for sure. Laura, thank you so much for the time. Great insight, and it's really timely. This is the time of year, like you said, get ahead of it. The kids are all going back to school in the next couple of weeks. So appreciate the time and the insight with us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Laura Markley with us again with Akron Children's Hospital, president of the medical staff.